Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the next part in the Airscale Defiant. This episode will deal with the construction, and it's not that straightforward, mainly because this is obviously a 3D printed resin kit and normal cements won't work. But luckily for me, I normally use super glue anyway for the major components, and I am in my comfort zone to some extent. Just doing a test fit here. Instructions say use the nose to help align the parts and the tail, so that's exactly what I'm doing. There was a slight step on the rear fuselage, so I just trimmed a few pieces away and then applied some super glue and used these clamps. Now here was the first kind of major disaster with the construction, in that using the Swedish clamps, trademark, I just allowed the bottom seam to move ever so slightly. This was a real pain. I thought I could very quickly prise the parts apart before it grabbed properly. That was not the case, and I ended up snapping both of the sort of halves by the just behind the turret there, and there you can see the repair. So luckily everything fits back absolutely perfectly. It's a very clean break, and yeah, just glued it in, tidied up the seam. Filler, this is my go-to filler, the Mr. Hobby purple type, which I believe is the superfine epoxy putty. It's got some kind of plasticizer in it, which means it sort of sands and carves, etc., just like sort of plastic. So it's a little bit softer than this resin, which is a little bit brittle, but it just feathers in beautifully. It just feathered in just as well as it does on plastic kits. So I've used tape there just to minimise the disruption. But also on the bottom, like I say, there was a little bit of a step there that needed sorting out. A little bit of Mr. Surfacer just over the joins, more of a belt and braces thing. It didn't really need it, but just for a little bit of confidence, and just using the display sort of sanding sponge things just to polish that up. Can be used as well. Here you can see a fair amount of Mr. Surfacer, not on the join. This is over some of the remnants of some of the layer lines that were left. I'll just use a little bit of Mr. Surfacer to help just eliminate those. And then using these sanding sponges, which do sort of curve a little bit, just to help sort out the sanding of the joints. Wet sanding. That will reduce the dust, very important. Obviously, resin dust can be nasty stuff. So if you sand it wet, you're going to get gunge rather than dust floating about. And that seam line there at the front, at the top, is perfect. Still need to restore some of the panel lines though, just using some scribing guide tape. Now you've got to be careful when scribing this resin. Like I say, it's a little bit brittle. So very, very light passes with the scriber and just building up the depth. Using a saw can help as well. And I did actually go over all the seam lines, all the panel lines with a saw, as you can see here. I'd eliminated pretty much this panel line, just trying to match up the contours. And that's why I went in with the saw first. Tamiya primer going on. I'm just checking the repair work, and also I'll spray some on the seams as well. But as you can see, you would never tell that there was a break there. Perfect repair. Now going around the underside, yeah, not too tidy around the that's some kind of identification light. I got a bit of filler in there, and then it was a bit of a nose to clean it out. The kit does fit well. Not perfect. Some people might expect it to be perfect because it's 3D printed. But even with that, you're going to get some little inconsistencies in the printing. Just removing some of the tape there just to protect the clear parts. There we are, that's pretty much the centre section complete. Luckily, you can just put it on its nose like that. Let it dry properly. Just checking there, just giving it a little bit of a polish, and I'm just checking the panel lines and the riveting. I did have to go over some of the rivets again, not on the side so much, but definitely around the seams at the bottom. Okay, wings didn't fit brilliantly, if I'm honest, so I've just put the Tamiya flexi tape around the seam. You can see that it's rocking backwards and forwards. I tried my best to get as good a join as possible. I'd reamed out some of the holes, I'd reduced some of the width of some of the pegs, and then I'm just using some 5-minute epoxy, which is going to be stronger than super glue when it eventually goes off. I'm just going to put that in the holes. So I'm not going to put that on the pins because it will sort of push the glue out and might make a bit of a mess. It's quite difficult to clean up this stuff. So putting in the holes, and then we can slot in the inner portion of the wing, comme ça. And you can see it sort of rocks backwards and forwards. So I'm just going to hold it in place just for 5 minutes until it sort of grips. And then using one of these really cheap applicators, I mean, we're talking a few quid for a packet of 100. On the end of the super glue bottle, I can go in and just squirt the super glue into the gap. Now, the reason for having the tape on there is to make it much easier to clean up. So just going in with a cotton bud, and then we can just wipe over the top and take away some of that excess. Now, that's not going to leave a perfect join, so I do go in there with a bit of Deluxe Perfect plastic putty, and then sealed the whole lot in with the Mr. Surfacer later, and that made quite a good job of it. Inevitably, a little bit of excess glue is going to sort of get in the way, and the easiest way to clean that up is with a bit of debonder. Just got to make sure it doesn't soak into the joint itself and weaken it. So I'm just brushing it on the top surface, and then we just go in with the cotton bud and deal with it. So here's that perfect plastic putty stuff. This is acrylic, it's water based, and then just using the sort of end of this curved blade, I can just work that into the joint. It looks quite rough, which is fine because it's a really easy cleanup. Just a damp cotton bud, give it a bit of a rub, and that will smooth everything out really nicely. So removing the excess, did it first before the tape, and then taking the tape off and then going in again. But there was a bit of a step across both left and right actually, and the best way to deal with that is more of that putty. There's the Mr. Surfacer. We'll just clean that up with a bit of lacquer thinner, and then a lot of sanding actually to match up those contours, and it was smooth to the touch. You can actually see the sort of flap panel line there going across, so it is worth doing. And then again, more sanding, so just going in with the razor saw, very light passes. Looks like I'm sawing a lot. I'm not. Literally the weight of the saw itself is doing the work and just restoring those panel lines. Now we can put the fuselage together. Obviously here's the nose going on. Again, I've put the glue on the inside. I don't want any splurging out. Exactly the same technique for the tail. The last remnants of my accelerator is helping out there, and then I do back up all the seams with the 5-minute epoxy on the inside. That'll add strength and reduce the risk of the shearing forces. Drilled and pinned the elevators. Managed to snap off the sort of male plugs, if you like. And again, filler across the joint. That will get sanded smooth, and then we're going to have to go in again and restore the surface detail across the join. This was the saw I used from RB Productions. Guide tape, just to make sure, and then a few light passes. Now, obviously, the advantage of this is, well, it's very fine, so it matches the paddle lines. But the shape of it, you can get right in to the nooks and crannies. And restoring the rivets. This is the Galax Riveter tool. Unfortunately, the pitch of the rivets on the kit didn't quite match any of the wheels I've got. And this was about as close I could get. I think it was 1.25. The 1.1 didn't quite work either, so perhaps 1.15 would have been perfect. One-piece landing lights, they just slot in. Careful painting required. Clear parts didn't fit that well, if I'm honest, but that's a bit of an advantage. So a bit of trimming left and right. Can glue them in place and then sand them to shape. Same for the nav lights. This is a bit of stretch sprue. Clear, just dip it in the clear paint and then glue it into a hole that I drilled, and then again sanded everything and then polished it up. Best fitting part of the kit now are the outer wing panels. You've got these kind of strengthening strips around the outside. Managed to damage some of those, which is a bit of a pain, but then just built up the layers of tape to match the height of it. And then we can go in again with the Mr. Hobby epoxy, smooth it in place, and then just with a knife blade I can sort of guide it along and cut away the excess. That's part one of the operation. Next part of the operation is using plenty of water and the back of a knife blade. We can just go and tidy everything up. And there was no real sanding along the sort of the contour change. Little bit of sanding around the radius just to match up the height of the repair to the strengthening strip, but nothing required on the sort of join of the outer wing panel. Just using these Display, the sanding sticks from Display, solid, and it means you can get a really nice sort of square contour, if you like, if that makes sense. And there's the repair all done. A little bit at the very back as well, you might be able to see. Pleased with that. Right, this sort of top cover goes on. What I should have done before gluing this into place was sand away some of the printing lines. Ended up doing that after the painting actually, or part of the painting. And then just with a bit of glue down the inside, being very, very careful, just used a bit of epoxy. And just using a peg, and that will just pinch in those sort of side windows and make everything flush. They do kind of spring out ever so slightly. Oh, here we go. Hands to dry brushing paint again on the aluminium. The radiator matrix is beautifully printed. It was sprayed black first with the VMS primer. And then just that dry brushing, you can see, really pops that detail out. Absolutely wonderful, that. The strengthening strips I ended up painting in black. Actually, looking at photos, I think they should be silver. But actually I quite like that contrast. Looks really nice. I'd snap the pins off. Story of this kit really. But got that to fit quite well. Just needed a little bit of help. This is just a bit of Mr. Surfacer black over the top. I had used a bit of perfect plastic putty in there as well. And then I'm just feathering everything in with a old Flory sanding sponge. I can see the oil cooler at the front as well. Windscreen time, that got epoxied into place as well. You can see the sort of remnants of the shiny stuff. You can clean it up with a moist cotton bug and a bit of water, but you are going to leave some residue, so just be careful. And I just used the main canopy just to make sure it was in the right place. You can see the sort of glossy shine of the epoxy there. We'll clean that up at the end. And that's pretty much it. We're kind of ready for paint. So that was a quick walkthrough really of the construction, not without its accidents, all by me. And anyway, we got it ready for primer in the end. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part, which will be the final part, which will be the painting and weathering. So if you want to know how to paint and weather a black finish, a night finish, then stay tuned next week for that one. Thanks very much. I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye bye.